What's up, everybody? I'm Travis Tyler, and this is the Customer Engagement Lab. According to Aaron Ross, the godfather of modern B2B SaaS sales, 40% of prospects are either evaluating, considering, or they already know that they don't need your product or service. And in his book, Predictable Prospecting, he explains that the remaining 60% are either unsure or don't know if they have a need for what you're selling. So for today's episode, we're focusing on this group of people called the unaware buyer. How do we make them aware? How should we sell to them? How do we get them to notice us, to remember us, and for the love of God, give us their sweet, sweet money? Just kidding. Anyway, you'll hear from Jed Marl, PandaDoc's Global Manager of Outbound Sales Development, as he distinguishes between emailing aware versus unaware prospects. We learn why his strategy works so well for him and how you can do it too for your team. Also in this episode, I chat with Carmen, PandaDoc's Brand Ops Manager, about a form of awareness advertising that's super relevant right now, Super Bowl commercials. She and I go over the secret formula of successfully nailing a $6.5 million ad. We actually preview 3 different commercials, and we talk about which ones we think will do best and worst based on those criteria. But before we get into that, let's talk about publicity stunts. Because when it comes to turning the unaware to aware, it's the Hail Mary to doing just that. For many businesses that are trying to focus on unaware prospects, they need to produce marketing results that are quick and cheap. So that's why stunts are the perfect tactic for this. The whole point of a stunt is to be eye-catching and share-worthy, to stop people in their tracks and make them look, engage, and remember your brand. And as we're entering 2022, we can see that last 2 years, brands were pretty muted because of the pandemic. There were a few going on that caught some steam, like the Duolingo TikTok mascot who was twerking on tables, or Kraft, the food company that was manufacturing mac and cheese ice cream. Anyway, what about the lesser known brands? Because as Dave Gerhardt says, it's not enough of a stunt to just post a cat meme on your company's LinkedIn page and be edgy, or just create a goofy version of your website on April Fool's. It's not gonna cut it anymore. Trust me, I have tried it, okay? Peter Mount Stevens put it best when he called publicity stunts pure, calibrated entertainment that shows brands have a personality. It's the theater, the fireworks that interrupt a content strategy that's being executed on the day-to-day. An effective stunt is doing something that's so disruptive that it allows anybody and everybody to raise an eyebrow and share it with their network. It's the viral content that creates attention, and it's not just the stunt itself that's gonna really impact the unaware buyer. Let me repeat that. It's the viral content created by the stunt, more so than the actual stunt, that breeds awareness for your brand. The best recent example I found of this was reported by Adweek. They have a detailed article about the London-based dating app Thursday. Here's the story. Thursday is a dating app that was originally founded in 2018 as Honeypot. The founders, they started off with some decent buzz. They were doing some of their own marketing stunts and got about 25,000 initial app downloads. But after they analyzed some of their user data and they were just looking at how crowded of a market this was, they rebranded to Thursday. And they wanted to pivot and offer something that was really different. The app is only available for use on Thursday because their data revealed that was the most popular day to meet up in person. And unlike other apps, their premise is based on creating artificial scarcity. So you can spend less time on the app and more time just living your life. So it's not even accessible on the other 6 days of the week. They want you to focus on spontaneous matching, scheduling, and dating right there then. So fast forward to when they hired their intern, Anya Jackson. The founders challenged her and the team to come up with a way to hit a lofty app download goal. And they said, go for it. So after a few attempts, Anya and the team were trying to recreate some of the stunts that the founders had done. And she posted a photo of herself while wearing a cardboard sign that said, flyering single, download Thursday, P.S. this internship sucks. She was handing out flyers, hence the flyering. It got negative and positive reactions on LinkedIn, as all good stunts probably should. And as it got more traction, the team was like, all right, we gotta follow this up with something bigger. So Anya handcuffed herself to a pole in the street next to a sign that said, world's most embarrassing internship. Single, question mark, download Thursday, hashtag cuffing season. By the way, cuffing season, I didn't know this, is when people get into relationships during the colder months of the year. So what were the results from these publicity stunts and all the subsequent like social media posts that they made? First, there was a viral spike in Anya's LinkedIn post that had over 1.5 million impressions, 14,000 likes, and over 1,000 comments. As for the app downloads, they doubled their app downloads per week from 2,000 to 4,000 and more, and it just escalated from there. So today they're, I think, number 63 on the iOS App Store in social networking. So pretty good results. What can we learn from all of this? Well, first, marketing stunts cannot happen without a company culture that accepts, encourages, and embraces the risk of what comes with a publicity stunt. So if you're thinking about creating awareness, you got inspired by this episode, you want to try your own publicity stunt, start with your founders, your executive leadership, your bosses, see where they stand on this, because without their buy-in, it's going to be a little tricky. Second, Anya's professor, she was an intern, remember, he said that she hit the sweet spot of logos, pathos, and ethos in her communication. Her content was funny, edgy, vulnerable, authentic, and arresting with a creative flair. My belief is that without the right culture backing you up and those 6 elements I just listed, your marketing stunt is probably going to go unnoticed, or it could get you into trouble if it's too out of sync with the company's brand and cultural standards. So look, at the end of the day, I'm inspired by Anya and the campaigns that Thursday ran. They're doing more of them. But what I think is next in terms of like the evolution of this is how content marketers can figure out a way to harness the power of a publicity stunt in a more repeatable and scalable way. So what I mean is, like, if Anya's team could do this on a more regular basis, they might be able to strike gold. And there are brands that are already doing this. So like Liquid Death Mountain Water, I've talked about them before on the show. They have these really outside the box stunts, like their vegan cannibal steakhouse pop-up restaurant, which offered 100% plant-based, cruelty-free human meat. They had a Super Bowl witchcraft betting scheme. They did a waterboarding commercial. And my favorite collab was they got together with Tony Hawk and manufactured a skateboard made out of his blood. Well, a little bit of it, not a lot. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you'll hear from Jed and what his outbound emails look like for unaware prospects. And it's getting him that quick yes or no that he needs to hit his number. I'm going to go brainstorm some PandaDoc stunts that could possibly get me internet famous or fired. Stay tuned when we come back from this.
All right, so let's talk about the 5 stages of the buyer's journey and how you can use that to your advantage to start converting more prospects. So if you're not already aware, there's typically 5 stages to the buyer's journey. The unaware stage, they're unaware of the problem. Aware, they're aware of the problem. Consideration, they're considering solutions for the problem. Evaluation, they're like, all right, this is a problem, we got to find tools. And decision, they're ready to ink the pen and on a new solution for this problem. So knowing that information, obviously it's really hard to just kind of guess where a prospect is at in the buyer's journey when you're cold prospecting. But a good rule of thumb from what I've seen from a lot of statistics, and of course, take this with a grain of salt, it really depends on the industry you're in. But a good rule of thumb is that about 3% of prospects are actively looking for your solution at all times. 7% are open to hearing about it during that consideration phase. 30% don't have the problem, they don't need it, they're already aware, and 60% just aren't sure or don't know they have a need or a problem. So they're in that unaware stage. So knowing this information, if all of your email cadences, all of your email templates and your call scripts just assume that the prospect is aware of the problem, at best, you're only converting on a small number of your prospects. Whereas if your email templates aim to make the prospect aware, you're opening up that 60% or at least a huge majority of prospects that weren't previously aware. So a simple way to start converting on more of these prospects is just to change your email templates to work to make the prospect a little bit more aware of the problem. And you're going to start converting on a lot more of the prospects. A really easy way to do this, because of course it sounds cool, but how do you actually do it? One way we did it is we look at our customer case studies and try to find a compelling statistic. So to give you an example, we sell a proposal software, and there was a statistic from HubSpot that said 53% of deals go dark once a proposal is sent out. So we'll lead with that statistic, and the email will go something like, hey, HubSpot says 53% of deals go dark once a proposal is sent out. What are you doing to prevent your deals from going dark? We recently worked with XYZ company and helped solve this problem with our software. course, that's really a generic example, but you kind of get the point. We're leading with a compelling statistic to help them kind of open their eyes up to what this problem could be. Um, and another rule of thumb is that typically the first several emails within our cadences or sequences are aiming to make the prospect aware, because we really want to widen the funnel to the number of prospects that are going to respond and actually book a meeting with us. And if we just lead with messaging that assumes they're all aware, we're really narrowing that funnel down to the 5 to 10% of people who are actually considering or in that evaluation phase. So kind of the recap: understand the buyer's journey, take a look at your email templates, make sure that you're actually incorporating some messaging that aims to make the prospect aware, and start converting on a whole lot more of your prospects.
I think what I really liked most about Jed's segment there, and what I learned most, was he's really after the quick yes or no. It's a numbers game for him. And when it comes to prospecting unaware folks, his strategy is going to make a lot of sense to me, right? Like, he's breaking through the noise. They have no idea who he is, and he's trying to get that quick yes or no. So thanks, Jed, for giving us that segment. And now we'll move into our final segment of the show. And lastly, on today's episode, I am joined by the one and only Carmen Zito, Brand Ops Manager here at PandaDoc. Welcome to the show, Carmen. What's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Travis?
Good. I am so ready to record this and then take off from work and be done for the day.
Same.
But yeah, so let's talk about Super Bowl advertisements. It feels like we're coming full circle. Last time we chatted, we were talking about dumb Dolphins, and you were very upset because, and not because of the Miami Dolphins football team, even though you're a 305 Miami local native. Let's talk about where you're at with Super Bowl ads and brand awareness. It's a $6.5 million 30-second ad spot with 100 million viewers. And according to USA Today, 78% of people are watching the Super Bowl just for the ads. And I think you fall into that category. How does a brand know if they are ready to do a Super Bowl ad or not?
So you are correct. I am that person that's having chicken wings and beer in the corner until the commercials are up and the halftime show. So that's definitely me. And I think a brand is ready to do a Super Bowl ad when they're ready to take a risk. And by that, I mean swing for the fences, create something memorable, and don't worry about the internal politics of it. Because I think a lot of times there's people at a certain level at a company that aren't comfortable with a brand going too funny or with a brand going too emotional and taking a specific stance on something. And those are the ads that you're not going to remember, right? The ones that play it safe, or the ones that just like are executed very poorly and then ridiculed on a national level, which you don't want to do.
I think that's a really good summary. A brand that's ready to take a risk. And for established brands that have been around for a long time, we talked about it last time, they can probably survive the pitfalls of a flopping, Super Bowl ad that at least they tried to make a risk. But for newer brands, let's talk about that. Can the Super Bowl be a good place for brands to build awareness for companies that aren't as recognizable as the household names?
Yeah, it can be a great place. And to your point, there's companies like your regulars, Budweiser, Dorito, Coca-Cola. They're always at the Super Bowl. They have to be at this point. If they're not, it actually, I think, would look bad on the brand because they've become synonymous with Super Bowl ads. But if they do have a flop, I don't necessarily think it takes a big hit for them. But for like a smaller brand, it could be the opportunity of literally putting yourself on the map in one instance, right? And you can, I never forget one of the companies that I had never heard of that I discovered through the Super Bowl was E-Trade. E-Trade came out with a commercial with a talking baby, and that was the first time I found out who E-Trade was. And I think that's the first time a lot of people found out. And to this day, I think that campaign launched 2008 or 2009, and I still remember it.
Let's play a clip for us to listen to. This is the E-Trade Super Bowl commercial.
A lot of people are like, aren't you too young to invest in the markets? And, A, don't worry about it. I just look young. I mean, you don't know how old I am. And B, I use E-Trade, so check it. Click. I just bought stock. You just saw me buy stock. No big deal. I mean, you know, if I can do it, you can do it. Whoa.
It's so easy. There are 1,000 new accounts a day at E-Trade.
So I'm not going to play the whole thing. That's 20 seconds. But for those that are just listening to this, this is a 1-year-old baby who's sitting at a high chair in his or her nursery. I think it's a him. And yeah, this is great. Why was this so memorable? And how come, 12 years later, it's still sticking with you?
Because they followed the formula.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, look, at this point, it's kind of like the internet, right? So think about social media, think about the internet, think about things that make memes very popular, right? There's a joke that, like, if there's a cat in it, like, it's successful on the internet. Super Bowl commercials are not very different, right? So in a Super Bowl commercial, if you have an extremely likable celebrity, especially someone that's funny, it's probably going to go really well. If you have a puppy or if you have a baby who is dubbed by an adult male, it's going to go well, right? So there's a formula to these things. It's the things that people like to see, and it just brings a smile to your face. And they figured that out by, dubbing a baby with an adult male, which I think it's actually comedian Pete Holmes who narrates that. So,
what are other parts to the formula besides just having and selecting the right celebrity for the ad?
I mean, you can go nostalgic with it, right? You can bring things back that people love. I want to say it's Michelob doing that. I know we'll see that teaser a little bit later on what they're doing to bring back some of that nostalgia. Funny enough, and maybe you guys think I'm endorsing E-Trade, which I'm not, but they are actually bringing back the baby for 2022. And there's already, articles coming out with people saying, hey, they're going to win the Super Bowl again just because they're bringing back this super memorable baby character. And who knows, maybe the baby this time is buying cryptocurrency. How hilarious would that be? Watching this baby talk about NFTs, which I still don't understand.
I have a feeling you're going to not be super off. They're definitely going to be talking about it. So selecting the right celebrity, possibly going nostalgic. What else? Is there something about, I think you touched on it earlier, about hitting the right tone? Oh yeah.
So you need to emote something, right? So if it's making people laugh or maybe making people cry, you have to make people feel. But if your ad doesn't make them feel a damn thing, you have failed as far as Super Bowl commercials go. Like, I know we all watch TV and we don't expect every ad we watch on a regular day to make us feel something, but God damn it, my Super Bowl commercial better make me feel.
You need to be wiping your tears of laughter or of sadness with some spicy wings and making you cry even more.
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, let's watch 3 15-second teasers for ads that haven't even come out yet. And let's talk about this whole notion of teasing an ad, because I think that's a big part of this as well. So this first one that we're going to listen to is from Megan Thee Stallion for Doritos.
Excuse me?
So again, for those that are just listening and aren't watching this, definitely need to tune into the YouTube video and watch our full experience to get this. But Megan Thee Stallion walks up to her trailer on a set for what looks like a big Hollywood production. And as she goes to open her own trailer that says Megan Thee Stallion, it's locked, and she's holding a bag of Cheetos or Doritos, I forget which one. And she has a sloth that slowly reaches his hand out and then knocks her name off of the trailer. And I like it. I'm a fan of Megan Thee Stallion. Let's watch and listen to the next one. This one comes to us from Lay's.
What are we doing?
A teaser.
We're doing a teaser
For the commercial.
Yeah.
We're teasing commercials now?
Yeah?
That's a thing?
Right, like a movie trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, the commercial's incredibly short in the first place. How long is the teaser?
Oh, it's really
So Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd are sitting in ridiculous outfits. Seth Rogen's holding a bag of Lay's. They are sitting inside of a car on a movie set and poking fun at the fact that they're doing a teaser for a commercial. That one, again, is for Lay's. And this last one that we'll play now is the one you referenced earlier, Carmen from Michelob Ultra. All right, so that one takes place at a bowling alley. We see Steve Buscemi, who is a famous actor from the movie, I forgot the name. What was it again?
The Big Lebowski?
Thank you, The Big Lebowski.
You're
I wanted to
welcome.
call it
Also,
the dude, but yeah.
it's okay.
He's
He's also from Boardwalk Empire and a lot of things.
a lot of other things, but this one, he's in a bowling alley, which is obviously a nod to The Big Lebowski, and he's cleaning up and tending bar at a bowling alley with a bunch of McUltras everywhere. So those are the three ads, and I think the Steve Buscemi one's gonna flop. I don't think the reference is quite there for everybody as much as some of these other ones are. I think Steve Buscemi is a great A-list actor that a lot of people love, but I don't think it's going to quite make the splash that the Megan Thee Stallion one is. I think Megan Thee Stallion is going to win the Super Bowl ads based on just these three, and the Paul Rudd one will be good, and the Steve Buscemi one will flop. Where do you stand on these three?
I'm with you. I mean, look at the formula, okay? Megan Thee Stallion, super hot celebrity right now, and some sort of animal, right? Not an actual, real life puppy or anything, but it's like for those that haven't seen the teaser, when the sloth comes out, it's like a Muppet type of arm for a sloth, right? Which was, by the way, a great move. It's one of those where it looks so bad and so fake that that adds to the comedy, right? They didn't try to do like a realistic sloth arm. That was a choice. I just wanted to point that out because I noticed those type of details and I appreciate the hell out of them, okay? Little fake puppet arm just smacking down the sign. Very deliberate choice from a comedic standpoint. So I went way too far down. I really like puppets. We can talk about that on another episode. Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen, again, two incredibly funny people. Paul Rudd, sexiest man alive, long overdue, one of the most likable people in Hollywood, hands down, doing a very self-aware commercial about a teaser and the ridiculousness of a teaser. You're right, it's not gonna blow anyone out of the water, but it's definitely gonna be good. And then Steve Buscemi is that nostalgic part of it that we talked about, where if you bring it back correctly, it can hit really hard. And I think where that one falls flat when you watch the teaser, and if you have seen the film, the tone doesn't feel like the reference. It's not even shot similar to the movie. There just isn't enough there, I think, to drive it home. And I'll be totally candid with you. I didn't even get the Big Lebowski reference until you called it out to me earlier. When I saw the spot, I was like, oh, Steve Buscemi is in a Michelob ad. And then you were like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Because it just didn't feel it. But anyway.
The dude does not abide. So what's the deal with these teasers? Like, why do you think the teaser for the ad, as Seth Rogen put it, why are we even doing it?
Because the Super Bowl is the Oscars of advertising, okay? And it's just like a movie. You have to have a trailer for something, for the main event. That's what these ads have become. They've become an event, right? And another part of this is you don't just air your spot during the Super Bowl, right? You tease it. You have press around it before it even happens, which, by the way, is also risky in itself, because then when the spot actually airs in its entirety, you better hit it. You better hit it hard. And then after that, how much mileage can you get out of this post this commercial, And when it does hit hard, how much do you build on the success of that campaign for future iterations of it, right? So the Super Bowl will tell you a lot about, brands that know how to do it right.
There you have it, folks. I think perfectly said. Nothing more to add there. Thanks so much, Carmen, for coming on to another episode of the Customer Engagement Lab. And I hope you enjoy your Super Bowl. This will air right before the Super Bowl, so hopefully we have more to talk about afterwards.
Bomb. Thanks, Travis.
Adios. Bye, Carmen.
Bye.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you like what you heard, give us 5 stars. I mean, come on, guys. I'm busting my butt. I'm in my subterranean studio over here. So if you're enjoying this, let me know. Hit me up. Send me an idea for a segment, a guest. Give me the 5 stars. Tag me in a post. You know I love it. Anyway, until next time, we might have some more publicity stunts between then and now. But thank you, as always, for watching and listening to the Customer Engagement Lab.
Thanks for listening to the Customer Engagement Lab, brought to you by PandaDoc. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or connect with us on LinkedIn. We love to hear from you and what you think of the show.